I've always been a sucker for a good bargain, especially when it comes to old, forgotten things.
That's how I found it, tucked away in the dusty corner of a cluttered antique shop. An ornate, full-length mirror with a heavy, carved wooden frame.
The glass was a little cloudy, but for $20, I couldn't resist. I lugged it home, cleaned it up, and hung it in my bedroom, right across from my bed. It looked perfect.
The first few days were normal. I'd glance at it while getting dressed, check my hair, the usual stuff. But then, about a week in, I noticed something odd.
I was waving goodbye to my reflection before leaving for work, don't judge. We all do weird things when we are alone, and my reflection has hand moved a fraction of a second after mine. A lag.
I blinked, shook my head, and tried it again.
This time, it was perfectly in sync.
I figured I was just tired. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. But it kept happening.
The lag became more noticeable, more frequent.
Sometimes it was just a tiny delay in a blink or a turn of the head. Other times, it was a full second behind.
It was unnerving, like watching a poorly dubbed movie of my own life. I tried recording it on my phone, but on camera, everything looked completely normal. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. Was I just sleep deprived, stressed?
Then, the lag turned into something else.
Something more sinister. One evening, I was brushing my teeth, and I watched my reflection in the bathroom cabinet mirror. It was fine.
But when I walked back into my bedroom, I glanced at the big mirror and froze. My reflection was still standing there, holding a toothbrush, even though I had already put mine down.
It just stood there, motionless, staring back at me. My heart hammered against my ribs.
I slowly raised my hand, and after a long, terrifying pause, my reflection slowly, deliberately, dropped the imaginary toothbrush and raised its hand to mirror mine.
From that night on, it wasn't just lagging. It started doing things on its own.
Small things at first.
While I was reading on my bed, I'd see my reflection turn a page in its own invisible book, even when I hadn't moved. One time, I was just sitting there, and it smiled. Not my smile. It was a wide, predatory grin that didn't reach its eyes. The eyes,
they were the worst part. They were my eyes, but they were filled with a cold, calculating intelligence that wasn't mine.
It was watching me, studying me.
I tried to get rid of the mirror.
I took it down from the wall, ready to haul it out to the trash.
But as I lifted it, I felt an incredible weight, far heavier than before.
It was like it was anchored to the floor. I strained, I pulled, but it wouldn't budge.
I was trapped with it.
My own room had become a prison, and my warden was my own face. The nights were the worst.
I'd lie in bed, pretending to be asleep, but I'd watch it through my barely open eyelids.
It would move around in the mirror world, pacing its side of my room.
It would trace the frame of the mirror with its fingers.
Sometimes it would just stand right at the glass, its face inches from where I was sleeping, and just stare. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic beat of my own heart. Last night was the culmination of it all. I woke up suddenly with a feeling of sheer dread.
I sat up in bed and looked at the mirror. It was empty. My reflection was gone.
A wave of confusion washed over me, followed by a spike of pure terror. Where did it go?
And then I heard it.
A soft, scraping sound, not from the mirror, but from under my bed.
Slowly, I leaned over the edge. Two hands, identical to my own, shot out and grabbed my arms.
The grip was like iron. I screamed as I was dragged off the bed and pulled toward the mirror. The surface of the glass rippled like water as I was yanked through.
The cold was shocking, a horrifying plunge into icy darkness. I fought, I kicked, but it was useless. And now, here I am, trapped on this side. I can see my room, my bed, my life. But it's all through this cold, unyielding glass. And out there, standing where I used to stand, is him. He's looking at himself in the mirror at me.
He adjusts my collar, runs a hand through my hair, and then he smiles that terrible, wide grin.
He's perfect.
No lag, no delay.
He turns away from the mirror and walks out of the room, ready to live my life.
And I'm left here,
in the silent, cold reflection, with nothing but my own fading image for company.
All I can do is watch.
Please, if you see me, if you notice something's wrong, something's off,
know that it's not me.
The real me is in here.
Screaming,